We're out road racing 2 weeks in a row here in Friday Night Lights, but while still in California, we're going to the classic location of it all. It's Sonoma, California for the Wine Country 250. Howie Burrows alongside Ron Mond in the booth today, or should I say, Howie cooking to death in a British heat wave. Burrows, not even being 1 a.m. is saving us. Something like the conditions out there. Ron, how you doing?
You caught me right as I was finishing up one-throating a cheeseburger, but I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be a heck of a lot of fun. You know, off the back of Coronado last week where we had those ancient, forever long yellows, I'm looking forward to something a bit more normal, a more stereotypical NASCAR-style road course. Sonoma is a track that, if I'm being fully honest, I'm a little bit mixed on, to be honest. I don't really have any strong feelings one way or the other. I think the track is okay in terms of racing, a little bit up in the air. I will say, though, and I think we agree on this, Howie, the NASCAR configuration is maybe the best layout of Sonoma.
Yeah, don't talk to me about the long one. Don't talk to me about the long one that goes down the hill. This is fun to rip around, even if I've not really quite worked it out. Andrew Dyson taking another road course win, puts him in the championship charge now. Australians on the run. It's also the beginning of the in-season tournament. Got a lot of drivers down the line, and we may be able to keep you updated. And if we don't, we might be able to do so as we start whittling the field down. Hickson-Bar starting to build a lead over Benefield, but I don't think it can happen this early in the season. Well, let's take a real quick look at our starting grid for the upcoming race. Qualifying has just wrapped up, and I might have started us slightly late. Andrew Dyson is going to start from P1 again, though. Why not? Next to Bryson Hickson-Bar, bit of a championship battle near the front. Then it's Adam Benefield next to Blake Kluart, and Joseph McQuarter next to Lucas Hoitzma. Hunter Truls in 7th next to Jonathan Delaney, and Daniel Wiles is next to Alex Coffey.
And looking outside of your top 10, Jacob Simpson going to start this race in 11th. Next to him will be Kyle Amon in P12. Row number 7, going to see Jared Grodzicki starting next to Matthew Boston Wheeler, MBW there in that number 10 machine. It's Cliff Mullins starting this race in 15th. Next to him will be Mason Lowry there in P16. Love to see that old 42 machine, a little invert color there. Matthew Blackley going to start this race in 17th there in the number 43 machine from Artemis Esports. Seth Foudy will be alongside him there in 18th place. Rounding out the top 20 will be Cody Bird and Noah Woods.
I think the total number's 29 here today. It's Michael Mesnard in 21st next to Kevin Zosiak. Tanner Marty next to Bryce Ryan. He's a driver that didn't get a time done. William Owens, Tim Phillips, Bill Hull, Brandon Hunsinger, Dave Hoitzma, and Daniel Llewellyn make me one off the initial guess. Drivers lining up right now for the pace lap. It's actually a similar number of laps to last week, but I expect it to fly by a little bit quicker. This track almost exactly 2 miles long, just a little inch short. 79 laps at stages at 20 and 45 with the random chance for 2 more. As ever, off-track's actually a factor around this circuit, although there is a high incident limit. Be aware that yellows actually take a reasonable amount of time around it. I mean, they're not exactly high-speed affairs. We're still going around a road course, but we're all trying to get, Coronado out of our systems just a little bit. At least we know that, we do eventually make it round the circuit.
Can I rehash the story of what happened on the last broadcast that we were on, Howie, just a matter of 24 hours ago?
Yes.
It was over on another network. We were covering O'Reilly's cars running at Phoenix in a different series, and Howie made a passing comment about our trials and tribulations at Coronado last time out and the stupidly long cautions that came around as a result. And my response upon that story being shared was screaming at the top of my lungs. So I did not get a noise complaint from my neighbors. I think the neighbors have thought that I've been severely mentally disturbed for many years, which I wouldn't say they're wrong, but, you gotta crack a couple eggs to make an omelet, I suppose. But, yeah, I'm very happy that we're going to have some shorter yellows here. Another 30-minute long caution period. I think I would have gone fully stir-fry crazy.
I mean, look, we're already halfway through the lap. Would you take a look at that? This track got some great qualities. You can now obviously run out wide over the Save Mart logo, Toyota logo on the outside. It's Save Mart against the wall, obviously, with the iRacing track limits. And you have that run down the hill. Passing is quite hard around here. It could be a race where passes are difficult to get done. These cars aren't particularly agile, and these S's are going to be very much a test of car control, but this is the car control road course on the calendar. It's got that elevation change. It's got a lot of what does make a good sports car track, and we've got a great field of 30 cars here on the road to get it going. Just a few more turns to go, and of course, how can we forget the final hairpin? I almost forgot the final hairpin. That is where the fun happens sometimes. I seem to recall last season it getting quite dangerous around that turn. It's about as hot on the track as it is for me right now. Even though it's 1:30 in the morning, it's not been very pleasant to me. 104 track temperature, so try to get your bare feet away from the track surface. And also, I don't have AC, just like the drivers don't have AC. So really, we share something in common here. Welcome to California. After all, rolling through a couple more turns. Some different looking cars this time around. It's Dyson in the blue and Hixenbar in the red here as we roll around our last turn. They're going to hold quite a while for that green. And out it goes. We are green. Hixenbar's got a jump. Hixenbar's got a serious jump. He's going to take Dyson into the first turn and go straight up the hill. Single file straight out. Adam Benefield battling with Blake Cloart, who drops back quite a bit. Regains his footing in time. Dyson's not done. He's going to make a shot for that sooner rather than later, but the entire front of this field's quite busy. That's Joseph McQuarter on the outside of Cloart, who hasn't had the most excellent start. But already reversal on the front, and that's going to be a chase for our road course legend.
Yeah, and so Andrew Dyson, I won't say on the back foot, he's still running in second after all, but having to rattle the cage of Bryson Hixenbar to try and take this win here today. You still got some very good road course ringers right behind. Adam Benefield can hold his own quite well here on these lefts and the rights. And look at Blake Cloart there, your winner of Watkins Glen last season. He's still a driver that I'm looking for a little bit of a spark from so far here this season. The road courses have been a bright spot. I think a win here today would really turn around his season.
By the way, very, very big gap ahead of Jared Grudzicki. P12 and above, that car slowed down pretty much the whole field up ahead. Hoytsma on the outside, doesn't quite get past Cloart. Has to battle with Joseph McQuarter to get through the turn. Gotta say, I do love that design, new design of the 97. We'll be trying out a few new designs over the last few weeks, and the use of those three colours on a car excites me. So shades together. Benefield's part of this top three battle. He's not dropped out at all. Cloart's totally out of it. But Dyson's being pressured two sides by the same teammate. Do I say the same teammates? I'm pretty sure Dyson's on the same team. So make it a triple, really. I'm pretty sure they're in the same channel together. This is really going to be the race between three, though, here today.
Yeah, and right now you can already see it, the gaps forming as they head their way all through the south end of the racetrack, right at the end of the drag strip, which not a lot of people remember used to be the start-finish straightaway here at Sonoma. It's very strange, but either way you slice it, your top three still pretty close, although Hixenbar, bit of a slip-up as he headed his way through the S's. I think right now Andrew Dyson is comfortable running in P2, pacing himself quite well, and maybe waiting for a trip up here from Bryson Hixenbar. The mistakes have started to pile up, though, as Dyson close, heading down into the final hairpin, overshoots it a little bit, and here we go down the inside. Dyson cutting down towards the bottom of the racetrack, and he's going to take that race lead.
That felt a little bit inevitable for Dyson, but he got the move done, and aggressively so. Benefield's going to be on the rear of Hixenbar to see if he can challenge, and Dyson with the fastest lap as well on the board. Hoytsman's challenging Cloart down the road as well. Gaps already starting to really extend in this field. You can sort of see groups and groups opening. Very big pace differences on the road courses, obviously. There are some that are just attuned to them, and some that are going to drop back a bit. But with 3 laps into the run already, Adam Benefield certainly eyeing up Bryson Hixenbar, I think. I think he certainly wants a shot. I don't know if this time will be where he gets it. He's going to go for it and he's going to clear it. This is why you never listen to my predictions on anything. Good Good clean pass there by Benefield. He's through past Hicksonball, who struggled off the rip after that good launch on the green flag.
Yeah, so good low move there from Adam Benefield, getting clear of Hicksonball. That small little set of trip-ups there for that driver, the number 63 car, just started piling up, and unfortunately, he is going to be... he's gonna pause for the cause right now.
We'll be back. We'll be back. When audio problems happen, which I've had to try and fix, you might get a second of that. We will indeed be back. Apologies. But I'm trying to wrestle a very, very bad audio interface that doesn't like me here today and is treating me poorly. So, you know, doing my best on that one.
See the driver's getting a little bit squirrely there as they crested the hill.
Further back in the field, Kyle Amon leading over Reiner and Fauti. So a little bit of training from these places, but drivers really starting to get away from each other already on the road. And the battle's already starting to grow up. I mean, look at Dyson's lead over Benefield, 1.6 seconds already. Gone, out of here, didn't even want to start from the back. Passing here is difficult, so it does to me make sense that you may want to naturally try and qualify this time, unlike doing the first escapades that he often does on the championship. Our next battle, really, Blake Kluart's holding up the line for P4.
Yeah, so Kluart said that he is good on the road courses. That still rings true. Hey, you think about the last time the number 14 car tasted victory here at Sonoma was in that stunner of a finish about a decade ago with Tony Stewart and Denny Hamlin. So, gotta wonder whether or not we may see some similar fortune here for that number 14 machine. And Kluart still looking good here at the moment. Just looking for a little more. He's still got Hoytsma right behind. Joseph McWhorter running right in tow as well. Alex Coffey not too far away, only 0.7 of a second. The margin there between 6th and 7th. Why did I stop there? Jonathan Delaney holding on to P8 right now. You have to go all the way back to find the gap between Jacob Simpson and Jared Grodzicki to find something more than about 1.5 seconds.
And yeah, I mean, we're already pretty much checking out and running our laps on the track. Reiner just squeezed past Amon there for P15. Still a couple trades. Around the 20s, we've got a good battle. Michael Mesnar's leading out over Zosiak, Owens, and Hunsinger, along with Woods down the line. But this is certainly one of those tracks that you just have to sort of nail and get in your own head. And it wasn't truly designed like the likes of Watkins, where, you know, it's just passing opportunities and high speed galore everywhere.
And you gotta look at the other road courses that we have throughout this calendar here in the NASCAR O'Reilly Series, the likes of Circuit of the Americas, Watkins Glen, of course, Coronado last time out. Here at Sonoma, though, I wouldn't say the track stands out, but compared to the other road courses, I think it's a bit more kind of like flowy with medium speed turns. You think of Coda, Coronado, Watkins Glen. There are some slow sections there that are some pretty good overtaking opportunities. This is, of course, another one of those classic road courses in the NASCAR world as well. It was that, along with Watkins Glen, that were the only two for many, many moons. And then, of course, we had the road course revolution late in the 2010s and early on here in the 2020s. So at the present moment, I think these drivers trying to just get a grips with this racetrack. It feels, the vibe around this place almost feels like just the last sector, sans bus stop chicane at Coronado last time out. So it is a bit of an adjustment for these drivers.
We're racing a lap. Oh, I almost had to double check myself there. We're racing a lap 20 on the first stage, by the way. Then it's 20, 40, and 79 with that pit stop halfway through. Kluart really starting to hold up drivers now. I do have the feeling that 97 is going to get around sooner rather than later. Checks up just a little bit behind Hoytsma McWhorter. They're not able to get it done, and you have to have some bravery in your heart to really force a pass around this track. It doesn't quite come easy. Some have proven it already, but you have to be quite heavily committed into a heavy braking zone and hope you're not going to lock up into the next guy. Over and over again.
And I will say one thing about road course racing in the NASCAR world is when you find yourself tripped up and you start sinking down, it is very easy just to start getting pummeled constantly. You have one little mistake, one little trip up, you get overtaken. It's almost like short track racing in a way where everything's just going to pile up. It's going to snowball out of control. That one little Cheerio that you started rolling down at the top of a mountain has turned into a giant clump of snow that is coming down to crash through your winter cabin.
He's on board with Hoytsma. He's not the main car leading this, though. It's Kluart further down the road. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars in train here. That one just, unfortunately, just came to me naturally. Like, I was just counting and then it ended up in that place. And I'm deeply sorry to the Maconi Entertainment community, and it won't happen again on this show. But they're all just stuck in this, like, long train. Someone's trying to make the issue done at one point. Bryce Ryan is also a driver that's been trying to force his way up. Matthew Boston Wheeler is the rival being chased. Another design, by the way. I love the colours on that. It reminds me a lot of Hyundai's sort of colours in sports car racing, but with a very NASCAR twist on it. Stuck behind Boston Wheeler right now. Nobody's really ready to quite force it. They might be waiting for mistakes on a long track like this, or just mostly try not to make that mistake themselves. Have the inside line now, though. Had a bit of an outbreak. He's alongside, and that's probably going to force Boston Wheeler out of the groove into the next turn. That's a pass rider for P13. We're going to try and capture every battle that happens on the track, but trust me, it's not happening up near the front. And Andrew Dyson is sort of doing it again.
Yeah, so Dyson running away with things. I think back to probably his best show of dominance here in the Friday Night Lights series last season at, I nearly said at Phoenix, now at Portland, was where he started at the back, cut his way through, got sent to the back once again, and cut his way through once again. Kind of similar in an odd way, same region of the country. It's on that West Coast, albeit, a couple of 100 miles apart, but I think the point still remains the same. And in terms of the way that Portland and Sonoma drive in these cars, the way the turns are and everything, they are kind of two peas in a pod in a way. So I think that could be the reason why Andrew Dyson is putting together a very strong drive. Adam Benefiel at this point is just hoping not to get caught up in the same falling anvil storm that he was caught in last time out there at Coronado. He also came up into the booth and jokingly threatened to kick my ass. So we're hoping for that not to have a repeat this week.
He'd like to get some points out today, let me put it like that. And all I'll say is, in regards to Coronado, interesting track, but like, if only, and I'm just speaking about a long dream here, where this is a very unrealistic thought, but like, if only there was an epic high-banked oval in California that like was fun and beloved by fans. Unfortunately, it has never happened and it will never happen, but like, someone can dream, right, that California has one of the best ovals in NASCAR. One can dream.
Hashtag bring back Ontario Speedway. Looking now at Seth Foudy getting a move done there on Kyle Amon. That was pretty easy as he headed his way down into the hairpin. Fun little fact about racetracks that used to be. Anybody who hates Atlanta, I want you to pick up this. Instead of bringing back old Atlanta or bringing back even older original Atlanta, back when it was still just a regular oval, kind of like Homestead is now, what we need to do is we need to bring back the old Atlanta board track, the grounds of what is now the most popular airport in the world, which always surprises me, Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. That used to be a massive wood board track way back in the early 1900s. They need to bring that back to this very day. I know that the airport, shovels like millions of passengers yearly, but how about we demolish the airport and make a little wooden shanty racetrack there once again? Bring back board tracks. I want to see modern race cars race on wood. This is the exact reason why I'm not a real-life race promoter, because I would probably get people killed.
I have been to that airport, actually. I mean, yeah, I certainly have been to that airport. It is one of the airports of all time. But I mean, it's a very, very packed and overwhelming place. Just from a quarter, by the way. might have disconnected out. His car's disappeared, he's dropping like a rock, and he's just sort of no longer a part of this. He's still not there on the track, actually. So he might have just, he's just had a connection drop due to packet loss. So Joseph McQuarter, abducted by UFO, down and out to the bottom of the field. Was racing in his battle. He's sort of broken up a little bit now, because now Alex Coffey really has no one to chase. 1.7 seconds behind Lucas Hoytsma. Kluart's really gotten away from Hoytsma, so now it's really a 4-car chase now on the road. As I guess we have our confirmed last place car. Actually, no, Daniel Llewellyn had to tow to the pits on lap 4. We didn't catch this, but Daniel Llewellyn had a wreck that took out his car. He's actually the first on lap 4. He's the first one out of this.
Ooh, and bad understeer heading down to turn number 1, and I think, oh no. Bad sideway snap heading out there. Avoids contact with the barrier, but I think he decided, you know what, I'm good.
As you would like to say, as you have said before, he might have run out of give a damn.
Yeah, his give a damn broke.
That was the line. You know, we just trade lines back and forth between channels, which is great because we can use them more than once. I don't know, because that was last week. Time flies. Time flies when now your schedule's back to doing 5 broadcasts a week, people. It sort of breaks you inside. That's a lap car, 76. Bill Hull just running a little bit slow on the track and letting cars through. Delaney's chasing Coffey. This is our closest battle. It's for P7 on the road. Still no one quite willing to force it, though. So the laps will continue until aggression improves.
See, when you say aggression improves, how would you see an improvement? Would that be everybody starts kind of going for the jugular with each other? How's well,
we can turn up the dial a little bit, and there's such a thing as like, it's a bit like the oven. There's such a thing as like too hot, but it's also such a thing as not hot enough to cook cars. What an analogy. Well, this track's hot enough to cook cars, but there's such a thing as not quite enough when people aren't really going for it, and then there is such a thing as elbows out dogfighting where even we wonder what's going on. And right now, I think we have some space to run, is what I'm saying. Bit of a slide out from the turn from Coffey. Not going to give up enough time.
Yeah, so Coffey looking to cook, or I guess Coffey looking to brew right now as he's holding on to P6 at the current moment, holding off the challenge from that number 6 car of Jonathan Delaney. Not often that we see Delaney pop down into this championship, but the 2-time reigning FLCC 600 winner was able to call his win back last year in 2025. Still looking to put on a good performance right now here in that number 6 machine. Delaney, no stranger to visiting victory lane here in this championship. In fact, last season here in Friday Night Lights was able to score a victory between the start and the end of that season. That was coming actually at Sonoma last year. So your Sonoma reigning race winner, currently holding on to 7th, may have to keep an eye on Delaney. Now, I'll have to look back to see whether or not he had a certain Mr. Andrew Dyson to dice with, but we shall see.
Yeah, adding Andrew Dyson to the mix is sort of like cheating. Like, yeah, we know he's the fastest out here. He has been beset by issues before, and he hasn't always had perfect races, and they still have a race ahead of us. Lap 14 has just begun, and Dyson's still running excellent laps on the track, but there's still time for variables, including, of course, the 2-stage cautions, but also the random yellows could be thrown up to 2 at any point during this race, apart from the very start and the very end. So plenty of space and time for a little bit of pit strategy variety. Around P20 drivers are battling, but also Jonathan Delaney keeps getting closer and closer to Coffey, and just behind, Daniel Wiles gets closer to Truel. Now, tries to get a nose out, Delaney. Doesn't quite. Would it be on the outside? It wouldn't be a great place to pass. He's very close to it. Very close to it. I think any lap could be his lap, but it's just not quite happening. Fowley stuck behind Mullins, and actually Daniel Wiles gets it done as I look away. So who's the fool here now? Take a look at that pass.
And so let's see, this is heading all through the South Bend, and there you can see Wiles just dives it down the inside. 71 runs a little bit wide, has to check up to avoid going off into the dirt. And there we go. That's how you get it done. So I was going to say avoid getting off into the grass. It's not really grass at the moment here at Sonoma. I kind of wish that they did the rescan of this place in the spring or the winter, where it's actual greenery and the scenery, and not in this. Granted, this is when NASCAR runs here. It's in the summer where everything is dead. But there's only so much beige a man can see before he starts seeing red.
I mean, this is the average California weather, is it not? Well, I did used to think it was sand on the old scan. I mean, now I can tell what it is because it looks beautiful. And but I did used to think that's sand, and that's coarse, rough, irritating, and it gets everywhere. But maybe that's a stereotype of the California, is that everything that looks yellow is also endless dunes.
Yes, I was going. Sorry, I was just going to say a couple of points from that. First off, coarse and irritating. That's usually how I describe my own broadcasting style. And secondly, with California, everything is either way too alive or way too dead. I think John Force, former drag racer, described California. Everything is fake here. If you see an alligator, it's on rails.
Yeah, one end of the country you get the fake alligators, and in Florida you get the ones that will just eat you. Little bit of dirt there for Delaney on the outside. That's probably slowed him down, really deflated that chance of the battle. He makes a shot up the inside anyway. He actually is alongside. Next few turns are difficult to get the battle done. He'll be on the outside as he approaches the start-finish, but gave up one part to get more. Bold outbreak into that turn. He's ahead now. This is where it sort of slows for him, but if he's alongside enough, he gets the inside, and that's nice and cleanly done. Finally, so for Jonathan Delaney, Alex Coffey losing the place, and he's under threat. I don't want to see from above quite how he got that pass done, though. Oh, that's really going for a gap that barely existed. I thought it was a bit of an outbreak, but he only really got alongside mid-corner.
If you no longer go for a gap that exists, you're no longer a racing driver. But let's take a look at here. This is a good little onboard. There's a little bit of room to work with there. It used to be the tire bundles of sadness there on the inside. Now it's a concrete wall of doom, but still very tenacious in this attack. As look at him sawing at the wheels. He headed his way through the final kink, coming across a stripe right there. He was wheeling that thing with a capital W.
Kind of need that to get out of a lot of these turns effectively. Now 5 seconds, the Andrew Dyson advantage. By the way, Hicksenbar almost 5 seconds behind Benefield. That top three is a lock on pace, I'm going to say that for sure. Here comes Wiles alongside Coffey, and a little bit of contact. I think Coffey gets a little bit loose on the outside there. Wiles doesn't really have the guile here. I want to quite see how that one happened. He tries to go for the same move, so he's already seen someone go for this, and he thinks I can do it. Is alongside, and that's just got to be a little bit of oversteer from Coffey. We'll check, but I think that's just, he's just sort of overcooked it a bit on the exit. We're seeing a lot of people struggle with power out of turn 11 here at Sonoma. Yep, you can just see that car is sliding its way out, and that led to a little bit of door-to-door contact. So Wiles still stuck behind Coffey on the road, but certainly will make another shot for that again. He got close.
Yeah, the handling of that number 54 machine of Alex Coffey, it looks like it's gone from handling quite all right to pretty much handling like a canal boat. You could see that moment as he headed his way through the hairpin. Look at how much steering lock he put on. That was over 180 degrees turned onto the wheel, and just nothing. Now, granted, this is something that I learned very, very early back in the early days of my karting career, when my dad told me, you need to learn about racing. Don't watch actual racing. Read these ebooks about how to be a successful racing driver. And it just taught me what an apex was. So see Lucas Hoytsman coming down pit lane. You should probably saw the wheel a little bit there to try and get those front tires to grip up, but I don't think there's any sort of convincing that those front tires would be able to respond too kindly. Those just look like basically PVC pipes.
Hoytsman working to flip the stage. This is a track that is tricky to pass on, so I think this is one of those where it is a viable strategy just before the pits close. He'll be the only one to take on this lap, and he'll be coming out first place on the other side of the stage. Caution. Daniel Wiles still in line with Coffey. 1, 2, and a 3. Where does Hoytsman actually come out? Not that it's going to matter, but he does actually come out in the top 15. He's 14th here. He actually doesn't, you know, I'm used to that just like costing you the lap on ovals, but actually you can just do it here on a road course and probably not lose the entire house. Still no stage point, still doesn't really matter in any way, but I imagine if you do that from high up enough, you might be able to still get a stage point out of it, which is very funny if you're Andrew Dyson. Just, you know, go for it and dominate. Benefield plays the game as well, so it'll be Benefield and Heitzma on the front row.
That'll be an interesting front row come time for stage number 2. In the meantime, though, we have still got some battling for some of our final point spots here at the end of this first stage. We follow one of note right now. It's Alex Coffey and that number 54 machine that still seems like it has the handling characteristics of a shipping container. Right now, Daniel Wiles trying to get this spot. Now, whether he can, we'll just have to find out, but we know one thing for sure. He's laying on that pressure as thick as icing on top of a wedding cake, looking for fifth. Trying to get fifth, not close enough as he heads his way through the NASCAR short chute right now, but Wiles may have some company very, very soon. You keep an eye on Hunter Trull, the driver. He got a move done not too long ago into this exact same turn. You also have to keep an eye on Jacob Simpson, that 22 machine. You know he's going to be in it.
Wiles chasing. This is still the last place on the track that could really evolve, but there's a couple right near the back. Drivers a lap down like Phillips and Lowry. But Wiles sticking at him. White flag in the stage about to happen as there's Dyson across the line now. So that'll be white flag on the stage. Wiles is sort of going to have one or two more shots at Coffey over a whole lap. He is going to have a chance to make that attack, though, before the yellow falls, obviously, because they're within the top 10. And we throw that when Temp crosses the line next. Through they come. Wiles has some work to put on. Does he want to risk it, or does he want to lock in his chips here in this position?
Yeah, how much do you want to dance with the devil? That's the real question that you've got. You know, it's all good to try and get an extra point here in this stage. Hey, maybe come time for the end of this regular season, that extra point can matter, but only 20 laps into a nearly 80-lap-long race. I'm not sure if that is the right game to try and play right now. Certainly, Wiles is trying to go for it, but with lap traffic involved, that's Daniel Llewellyn, who has rejoined this race. Not sure whether or not there is a realistic scenario in which he can get this move done.
Kluart's quite close to Hixenbar as we enter the final hairpin as well. He's had a very, very good lap. And the lap cars have gotten in the way all over the place. This would be for P2, but I think there might be too many lap cars to do something bold about it. And then we're going to take a look at Wiles, play the same game. Goes for the outside, little bit of contact. That's the long way around, unfortunately. Look out for Trull. Andrew Dyson will take the stage win, but Adam Benefield, who, as my theory suggested, will pick up a stage point despite pitting, will be the control car for our checkered flag here.
God, look at the difference between those two. Adam Benefield pitted, what, like a lap or two later than Lucas Heitzma? Benefield looking to finish this stage off in 10th. You got Heitzma all the way down in 16th. That is just shows you how much a couple of laps can make a huge difference here at Sonoma.
I'm not sure it was the laps, but it was more that top three had an absurd gap to the rest of the field. They just had so much time to burn. They were flying away, you know, more than 5 seconds from each other. Andrew Dyson takes the stage. Here's your top 10. I think it's only fair to talk to Andrew Dyson at least once on this road. I mean, we'll speak to him again at the end unless anything happens, but we can take both in one go, I think. Let's see if we can get him just before pit road, though. Andrew Dyson, stage winner. You got a copy?
Good evening. I have a copy. One copy, yes.
I will. I'll give you peace and quiet if you need to make your pit box. No, we get a lap. We get a lap. So, easy stage one, but you were actually jumped on the start-finish there. Got back Hixenbar in time.
I was, man. I started in second gear. That wasn't a good strat. I couldn't even hear the other cars around me in first because we're going really slow. But anyway, it didn't hurt me too much. I think it stuffed a few people up. I know I got a 4X from it. So that's not great. but luckily this week we have a 21x limit, so it's not too bad compared to other weeks. So yeah, managed to get through that. And then Bryson was doing good. He just overran the he overran turn 11 just slightly, so I got underneath him and was able to get it done from there.
So you're in communication, obviously, with the other sort of prospective top 3 here, and Benefield's gone for a stage split. Do you think it's a viable strategy here?
I mean, it was funny. The boys mentioned, Lucas pitted. I'm like, oh yeah, classic Lucas strats. He loves it every time. And I actually thought to myself, one of these races, I'm gonna flip the stage from first, just to be in front of him at the start of the second stage. Anyway, maybe one day. But Adam kept it pretty quiet. He didn't say nothing. He just ducked into the pits there and just made it in before the pits closed. So yeah, they'll be pretty good. I don't know how much you'll take out of the tyre in one lap here. You'll take out of the tyre in one lap here, or the couple laps that we do under caution. But I don't think they'll be really bad either, so it should be some good racing here. And
no lost first challenge here today, too hard to pass?
No, it's too hard to pass, man. You just got to be creative, right?
Well, you could have started from the back.
No. We don't want to be. You just want to have a good race, like a proper race, not a silly one. So yeah.
I'll make sure. Just make sure you hit your pit box on time. Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's all right. Plenty of time to get to the pits. But no, there's a lot of dudes here that are pretty fast. So Adam, for example, he's not going slow. He's done a couple of races this week and he's got it worked out. So he's going pretty good enough that I think if I started all the way down the back, I probably wouldn't catch him. So no, I need to give myself a good shot here at least and start at the front.
Well, here's to the rest of the race as you just about make it into pit road. Our current leader, Andrew Dyson. Here comes pit road. As we know, at least two drivers are going to be leading out this field. But the rest are on their way in right now. And I don't know if anyone wants to get up to any shenanigans, but maybe somebody will make a mistake. That's usually the classic story around here.
I mean, I can get up to shenanigans. I usually do. I can sing a little jingle here. Into the pits we must go, E-I-E-I-E-I-O.
It's not quite singing the jingle, but I'm also not going to put you up to that right now because I recognise that's a lot to ask. So here comes everyone into their pit box. Peer pressure can be a bad thing, can be. So Benefield is ahead of Hoitzma at the front of the road. Looks like every car will take 4 tyres. I mean, you might be crazy enough to take 2 on like a late race random yellow. Would love to see it. Don't see any black flags though, so we'll see what happens with pit boxes on the way out, but pretty much the field sorts out. It's Benefield, then Hoitzma, Dyson, Hicksenbach, Kluart, Delaney, Coffey, and Troll. Here's your standings entering the next stage, which we race to lap 40.
And so another 20-lap long stage here coming up, and Adam Benefield and Lucas Hoitzma are going to be up at the front. Now, how long can they hold off Andrew Dyson? I would not be placing too many bets there. I'm just going to wait to see how everything goes out. Now, whether or not they can remain in the podium spots remains to be determined. Well, the Bryson Hicksenbach is fast. Very fast, already a multi-time winner here this season. Current championship points leader stands to reason that he's going to be quick. But will he be able to get the moves done? Andrew Dyson, I like what he said in his interview, saying, you can get overtakes done here, you just have to be creative. Does Bryson Hicksenbach have that creativity to get a move done on either Adam Benefield or Lucas Hoitzma?
I'm thinking about that battle for the lead, and I mean, Benefield, it has been fast here, not been as fast as Dyson for sure, but there will be a battle for a few laps. I don't think you can get it done quite in one go in a second lickety split up the front. So I think there's still room for some intrigue and still room for something fun and interesting here. Obviously still 2 random cautions on the cards. They could drop at any time during the stage, but this is sort of our shorter stage as it goes. Here comes the field, not quite 1 to green, but I'm sure we want to green the next time around. I'm not allowed to complain about how long this takes because we just, we've come a week out of pure trauma. I will take, 2-minute pace car laps. It doesn't feel very, very, very NASCAR. It doesn't feel very Friday Night Lights, but I will take it.
Yeah, as long as we don't have 5-minute long caution laps, I will Take it any day of the week. You know, we complained earlier on this season about the caution laps at Daytona and Talladega. Now, in the grander scheme of oval racing, those aren't great, but Coronado... Yeah.
Never again.
Boy, I can't even imagine how... I can't even imagine how it's like being an announcer for... We'll just throw out, 24 hours of the Nürburgring, shall we say. If there's like an extended yellow for some sort of weather event that may have gone down. I think they had pretty bad fog a couple of years ago, so I can't even imagine what's like covering those caution laps. If we ran NASCAR events there, if Friday Night Lights made their appearance at the Nürburgring Nordschleife in 2027, we would just have to cut to like a full-on movie during those caution laps. Like, even if they were just 3 laps long, how long would that be? That would probably end up being like 45 minutes under yellow.
You know how it feels, Ron. You've literally called an endurance race that couldn't go green for more than 2 seconds recently.
Yeah. And see, I try and blank that out of my head because
You've had a lot of cautions recently.
Absolutely not.
You've had a lot of caution laps recently to go through.
Yeah, there was, so folks, last week, of course, we had the race at Coronado. The weekend after, well, the day after on Saturday, which is usually my designated broadcasting day off now for the summer, but I still picked up some shows there because I'm a masochist. And I decided to pick up all 6 hours of a 6 Hours of the Glen broadcast. And yeah, I think we had green flag racing for maybe 2.5 hours, maybe a little bit less than that. Yeah, that's probably why I'm going to land myself in some sort of mental institution by the time I'm 25. We're not too far away from that. 3.5 years, I'm going to be speaking to you from a grippy sock vacation.
Just a little bit of time off, isn't it, really? Just a little bit of time off. That's why they call it vacation.
Good little vacation.
Why they call it vacation. Restart zones on the other side of the turn. Adam Benefield's your control car. 2 cars that flip the stage. Don't think the tyres are going to be a massive factor, but Andrew Dyson in the 41 is just watching from the distance. Away we go. Top 2 as expected. Dyson this time able to actually clear Hicks and Barr, start in the correct gear. Klual up the inside. Oh, it's a little bit rowdy on the outside. That time, that's Jacob Simpson losing out big time. In fact, a lot of drivers dropping down, and I think we might have some spinners. That's Noah Woods around. Race continues. We're going to go yellow for a big track blocker. Top 4 still as expected.
Everything's still running smooth and flowing nicely at the front of this field. It is very easy for drama to break out here on these restarts at Sonoma, so keep an eye on that throughout the rest of this race. In the meantime, though, we still have this battle. Blake Kluat, who's been in the ringer throughout most of this race, now holding on to 5th. Gotta wonder what this driver, the number 14 car, may be able to do. Has Jonathan Delaney right behind him. He was able to hold him off on the previous green flag run here, but now that he doesn't have to worry about that number 54 car of Alex Coffey that starts off these stints strong and then falls back, I think Delaney may be a serious contender for a top 5 spot.
Really, it's the places 5 down that are the interesting close battle for the day. This top 4 are going to shuffle themselves back and forth, but are going to end in some order close to each other. Benefield's still leading. We've not actually had anyone able to make a move up near the front of the pack. Let's take a little bit of a look at sort of the 2 incidents that happened on the start. Jacob Simpson was the first big one, and then Noah Woods went around as well. Here's Jacob Simpson.
And heading up the hill into turn number 1, under the bridge he's gonna go, and alongside the 54, gets all sorts of squirrely, but in all of that, everybody scrambles, and the 56 gets spun there. That was a 37, I believe, of Zosiak that sent him around. It's always tricky heading through turn number 1 here at Sonoma, because it's uphill, it's blind, it's really tricky to nail down the approach in the braking zone here in these cars. It is asking a driver and a car to do everything they don't want to do.
Matthew Boston Wheeler is the first car that leads a big gap. Daniel Wiles is the last car there, and then it's Boston Wheeler with a second to the next one. 1.8 seconds even. Like, they're absolutely flying away. Here's Matthew Blackley challenging Bryce Reiner. Just doesn't have the exit speed. Places remain as they are. Jacob Simpson wants that stage point, wants that place after being taunted out wide. A pretty good recovery, actually, to stay in 11th. Really going to try and challenge that Mustang now. It's not a great place to be, but actually Wheeler just sort of backs out of it. Now contact up the hill. Not going to be enough. Bit of a slide out the turn by Boston Wheeler. Look out for Jared Godzicki down the inside. Doesn't make a move. Up front, Dyson just inching his way past Hoytsma. Just like that, he's got Adam Benefield to chase down now.
Yeah, we take a look at the replay to see how Andrew Dyson was able to get this move done. Good run through the short chute. 97 of Hoytsma got a little bit tripped up there, nearly ended up in the outside fence, and Dyson sneak attack there down the inside. Last of the late breakers through and down the gears. He's going to go, hits the apex beautifully, and Dyson jumping his way up into second. You know what I talked about during that stage break about how Andrew Dyson was going to be able to do, more specifically how Adam Benefield and Lucas Hoytsma were going to do in terms of contending for some good spots. Benefield still confident in the pace of that race car. Is actually pulling nearly a second margin between he and Dyson. But the number 97 of Lucas Hoytsma, some questions were definitely left unanswered based off the pace in stage one. And right now, not really seeing too many answers I'm liking right now. He's in third still, but Bryson Ixenball is right behind him.
This chase will eventually kick off. Dyson's going to get closer and closer and closer. It's just a matter of when. He has just over 11 laps to do it if he wants to try and clean sweep this race. Technically, a clean sweep is quite unique in this because it's more than just a fastest lap win in the pole, because you could also consider every single stage win to be a part of the clean sweep. And you definitely do that on road. It's a bit trickier on oval, but you could even do it there, I think. There's Kevin Zosiak battling with Kyle Amon. Still some plenty of cars sort of chasing each other, Seth Audi and Jared Godzicki. And Andrew Dyson is on the rear bumper of Adam Benefield. So that's going to happen pretty much any day soon.
Yeah, you know how I said at the start of this lap that there's a second margin between these two? Well, you can take that, run it through a paper shredder, and then put that paper shredder into a wood chipper, because he is right there now, 0.3 of a second. Certainly occupying the rearview mirror of that number 83 machine, but gotta wonder whether Dyson is going to try and go for a move on the back end of the circuit or maybe off into the hairpin. He said that he likes to be creative, likes to be experimental with where he goes for the moves. One thing I know for sure based off what we've seen so far here in this race, when Dyson goes for the dive, it's going to be a sneak attack.
He comes at you like a drop bear. He's learned from the local fauna. Except he stays on the track instead of comes right out of a tree. But he would appreciate that joke deep down. Reiner past Godzicki. Godzicki struggling in the turn, and Zosiak is still battling with Amon. It always does look a little bit weird, cars going wide out there. But they can do it. Dyson is inching ever so close. And I think Benefield knows. And they're on the mic of each other. They're psyching each other out badly. Amon's around, by the way. Recovers it in one piece, no damage. Just as we look away, what happens? Dyson did not get the pass done, so I actually didn't miss something for once. Little much on exit, little much on exit. Slides it out.
Yeah, and so thankfully avoids contact with the barrier. However, he does sink his way down the running order, and those tires were turned into rectangles as a result of that sideways moment.
Here's another one with Seth Falty. Lost a lot of time when Reiner got past here. So Reiner's really just picking up everybody's pieces here. Make it one, make it another. Oh, a brake clock. Not the optimal way around that turn. The long way. 2 places in a pretty quick period of time there. Just got to spook out the other cars ahead. Still the battle for the lead on.
Yeah, battling for the lead, certainly intense. I was just going to say about Seth Foudy there, it's not the worst I've seen a driver overshoot the braking marker, hang down to the hairpin here at Sonoma today. That's unfair. Austin Green had no brakes there earlier in practice. Did he see that clip?
I don't catch up enough.
Yeah, so he went down to the hairpin and brake pedal went straight to the floor. And yeah, you can imagine the consequences of that. He's all right. Thankfully, he is okay. I think I've shared the story in the past here on some of these broadcasts. Austin Green, his first ever karts actually became my first ever karts way back in 2013. So always have that connection to Austin Green to this very day. I'd like to see him do well out there on the racetrack. Unfortunately, no brake failure at what is one of his bread and butter tracks here at Sonoma as a road course. Unfortunately, that's going to take him out of contention. I believe if RCR can get through practice smoothly and cleanly, he will be racing one of their backup cars. That is a good thing. However, it was a pretty nasty impact. They actually moved the concrete barriers on the other side of the tires.
Just call Jeff Maconi. I mean, I can't guarantee much other than hasn't wrecked yet. So call him, and he might not wreck it. That's what I think, and I hope. It is, by the way, a special paint day on the Not many have done it, and we might see more tomorrow in Cup. But it's a beer/drink race. It's the wine counting, and tomorrow it's the beers .350 in full length Cup challenge. So Dyson is one of the cars that participated. That's why it looks different. I don't know if Pisswasser, as you'd actually pronounce it, is a real brand, or whether he just made that one up. No, it's GTA. It's the GTA. Which, I mean, I have not played enough GTA. I played a little bit of GTA 5. It's brilliant, but I didn't play much of it, so I'm a little bit out of it. But that's the exact sort of thing you do. Now, let me try and peek around what I think might be some other paint designs. That might be. I'm not sure. You're going to have to help because I'm too British for this.
I'm looking right now. I just see blue.
Yeah, I'm having trouble seeing the rest.
Yeah, so I'm going to do a little bit of investigative journalism to try and figure out what this is.
Labatt Blue.
Labatt Blue, alrighty, so that's Canadian beer. Alrighty, see, I was looking at blue.
Well timed, there's our yellow flag. That's our first random yellow of the race. Well, shouting out, we did get one. We're going to have a bit more time to look at this then in a hot minute, but we've been given all the piece. A bit of one more little self-spin on the track by Michael Mesnard. This is not the cause of caution, it was random, but this reprieve was giving me a time to look at the race events and see that Michael Mesnard on lap 31 struggled on that hill, kept it out of the wall. Up to 2 random cautions. This is going to be a very, very short run to the end of stage, though.
This is going to be madness. I don't really think there's any other way to describe it. Now, here is an odd question that I've got for you, Howie. You think we're going to see any takers come down pit lane, at least in the top 10? Maybe some drivers farther behind, potentially, but anybody in the top 10?
They know more than me, I think, about the tyre usage. And if tyre usage hasn't been a big factor, someone's going to do it. Otherwise, I think you might be blowing a set because you're going to have to stop with the rest of the field anyway later. It's tricky. I have to take a look. I believe Jarek Grodzicki has a paint Arizona. I don't know if that's the Arizona Iced Tea logo. Because, again, we don't have it because I'm British. And so this was a bad race to put me on, fundamentally.
That is the Arizona Iced Tea logo. They do have a line of hard teas and all that stuff, though.
Because it's kind of alcoholic drinks day. Yeah, it was called beer/drinks, but I think the theme was... I don't even drink alcohol either, so I'm double in a bad place for this. I just don't know anything.
Yeah, see, my thing is my mother's side of the family, Catholic, so a lot of them... hit the sauce a little bit too much. My uncle, Jesus. See, I'm not saying he's an alcoholic, but he once got rejected for a job because he had to do a urine test and there was an olive in it.
That is, I looked this one up in the background. That's on Michael Mesnard's cards. That's Bacardi Rum. You gave me time to check that one. On William Owen's Pinnacle. I'm just having to search all these as we go, That might... Pinnacle Vodka? Possibly. We could say that might be Pinnacle Vodka, but someone might have to fact check me on that.
Should I share a slightly incriminating story?
Yeah.
I think the statute of limitations have run out on this. So I was about 9 years old at the time, right? And so here in the city of Philadelphia, yes, we do have drivers coming down pit lane. Here in the city of Philadelphia, we have a water ice place, Italian ice, called Rita's. It's absolutely fantastic. If you're in an area where Rita's exist, get it. It's good, okay? So back in, I think, 2016, maybe a little bit earlier than that. We'll say 2016. They had recently brought out what they call mixed drinks. So you can get any flavor of water ice that you want, mix it with another flavor, and they would blend it into a little, like, smoothie sort of mixed drink. It was cool. My dad, I distinctly remember, got some interesting combination. I couldn't really remember what it was, but I remember it just sounded fascinating to me. So I want to, try a little bit of it. So I saw that he had it out on the countertop after we got home. And I took a sip of it, and it tasted like battery acid. What I didn't realize is that in that small little period of time, he had, put a shot of vodka in it. So 9-year-old me, when I had that, actually 2016, I would have been 11. But either way, well below the drinking age me was flabbergasted when he had his first ever sip of vodka. That went down like a lead balloon.
That explains a lot.
Explains the brain damage that I have. Actually, that and running into literally every single thing. Fun little fact, I wouldn't share these photos because I do have shame about them. Any photo that you see of me from roughly the age of 2 to about 5, I always had some kind of bruise on my forehead. It wasn't like I was getting, hit or anything like that. I had 2 loving parents, but I myself ran into literally every single thing that I could, to the point where we had to put up a pool noodle around the coffee table in the living room.
I feel like I do hear this one at least once every 2 months, but like as a result, it's like a warm, comforting story that comes back to me every once in a while.
It's a comfort story, if you would.
Weather's going crazy right now, by the way, in real life out here. Like, we're both going through a heat wave and are now going through heavy rain, including thunderstrikes. So, crazy stuff out here. If we're off the air, we're off the air, but I genuinely don't know the last time this ever took out my power. And I think it will wait for Friday Night Lights to be done. It will be generous.
Yes, you see, that reminded me. So today I had to run some errands, and I took out my 1985 Oldsmobile Cutlass. I don't know why I'm talking in my regular voice, but we'll do it like this anyways. I was taking out my 1985 Oldsmobile Cutlass to go and do a little bit of errands, go out to an ice cream shop out in the county, which was a great idea outside of the fact that the car has no AC. So the ice cream was very much so melted by the time we got back. And there's a little bit of dirt on it. I need to cover it because we're getting some pretty bad rain tomorrow here in the city of Philadelphia. So after this broadcast is done at about 11 o'clock Eastern, I'm going to be out there in the city of Philadelphia on the street, washing my car and trying to cover it. I am going to stand out like a sore thumb so badly you will have no idea. Side note, in the process of looking at the weather forecast to see when exactly the rains are arriving, about 7 a.m. my time on Saturday, which is, it's still Friday here for Friday Night Lights. I also looked, I think Howie, last broadcast we were doing 24 hours ago, I was saying that this upcoming Thursday for me is going to be about 100 degrees. They clicked it up to 101. I'm looking now, and according to my rather dodgy Samsung weather app, which is usually about as inaccurate as you could possibly imagine, 104 degrees Fahrenheit on Thursday. I'm not sure what that works out to Celsius, but it is freaking gross. I don't even want to know what the heat index is.
There's nothing good about the weather right now. There's like nothing good about it.
That is 40C on the nose.
Yeah,
Dear
nothing.
God
There
above.
is nothing to smile about in my life right now this week. I've been producing more sweat that I didn't know I had. You know, sleep isn't fun.
Let me bring a little bit of joy.
That made me smile. It's hot on the track as well, 100 Fahrenheit. I think that's dropped very, very slightly. Looking at the... It's dropping very slightly as we hit 3:41 p.m. But not enough to get rid of the whole California effect. Adam Benefield leads. This is going to be a quick sprint. 5 laps to the end. Dyson and Benefield. A few drivers did stop, by the way, mostly near the back of the field. So drivers like Lowry, Hunsinger, Mullins, Zosiak. None of the big players have changed up the strategy. See what happens. One more chance at a restart. Weitzman challenges Dyson. Another poor start, and Benefield's very far away on the road, 6/10. Dyson's not quite been passed on it. He keeps it out ahead, jumping the curbs, going to do anything he can. Hixenbar sneaks up the inside. Still just a little bit behind going into the turn. But big gaps. Look at these huge gaps among our top 3. Dyson has a chase to get on if he wants to perfect this race. And if he loses 1 point, you know, he stays basically over. He may as well park it. So, we'll see how that goes.
Well, you know, for as long as I can remember, I've had memories, but looking at the battle right now between Jonathan Delaney and Blake Kluwat, that's for 5th on the road right now. Delaney finally punching his ticket up into the top 5. Kluwat dropping down at a bit of a sideways snap as he headed his way out of there right before the hairpin, as now feeling some pressure from Alex Coffey looking for it down the inside off through the hairpin. And Coffey, thankfully having the benefit of that random chance yellow, going to avoid any sort of trouble, falling back as this run grew longer. He jumps his way up, now into 6th.
Dyson's losing touch with Benefield. Both Hoytsma and Benefield made that alternate tyre strategy, and I think it's been an excellent play for them. 1st and 3rd on the books right now. Would be great, and Dyson hasn't really had it in him to make this challenge and get it done. Still, mostly running in line as it stands. We got big second gaps between these cars. 1 second, 1.3. Top 3 feels almost locked in. Tanner Marty in the wall. No damage on that car. Here it is.
Ooh, is Cliff Mullins already in trouble there? That may have just gotten Tanner Marty a little bit squirrely. Nope, looking fine, looking good. Oh, contact as they head their way into the short chute, and Marty thankfully avoiding contact with the barrier. Had to think better about that rejoin. Finally gets it back up and rolling without any further incident. I had a bad feeling about that as soon as I saw Cliff Mullins overshoot it down to the turn 3 section.
Dyson's getting a little bit closer here to Benefield. Emphasis on a little, 7/10 now, so he's actually cut that gap down. He's going to need to do more work, though, to really be challenging for this race win. He hops these curbs. He's making some desperate jumps here. Hoytsman's 2 seconds back and sort of has a train. Hixenbar not far off in any way. Here's Dyson's charge.
Yeah, so now the fight is on Dyson, looking for that top spot, taking a look at the sector times as they run around this place. Adam Benefield losing out just a little bit of time there in the first sector, only 1/10 of a second, nearly 2. Then a 1/10 and a half as he headed his way through the second sector. This, I think, is probably the best spot for Andrew Dyson on the entirety of the racetrack, through the heavy braking zone. Just able to have so much more confidence when he slams onto that brake pedal. Let's see what it is across the line.
It's about 1 step is getting up to him, the other step is getting past. That lap faster by about half a second. So certainly faster on the road, but actually running through someone is then a challenge on here. And they sure do have a little bit of a rivalry in this championship. Benefield's got points to make up on both Hixenbar and Dyson. Dyson really close now. 2 attempts. This has been an incredible first sector. I say that, and then it says the times are the same, but that can't be true because look how much closer he is. I'm just going to put that away. I think it's wrong. The battle's on, and it certainly has shrunk more than the graphics suggest.
Yeah, I think it's a visual gap that always feels a little bit inaccurate here. You see these drivers as close as they are. Dyson a 10th.5 behind as he heads his way down to the hairpin. Looks for it down the inside. Last late breakers through into the penultimate turn. Dyson, will he be able to get it done? Wheels it on the inside line. Both them have a sideways wiggle out of the turn, and Benefiel still able to maintain a presence side by side across the stripe up the hill through turn number 1. Benefiel takes that top spot, still holds on to it. Dyson slips back to second, may have to rethink this one.
This is his last shot. There's only 1 point in it, so really it's a feeling of glory, but it's also the fun of the chase and the fun of racing out here on the circuit, and Dyson seems pretty confident that he can lock this one in. Blackley and Bird, by the way, trading really side by side throughout the whole lap here. They've been doing it all the way up the hill, all the way back down. Still on it. Still on it. Little bit of contact. Be careful out there. Here we go. Down the hill comes Dyson. Really, he's going to get a shot into the hairpin, and that's about it. On a scale of 1 to 10, how hard does he send it? Let's find out. I don't think he'd do something stupid, especially to a teammate.
Sendito.
Don't want to believe it.
Sendito. Oh,
inside covered.
Okay. That smart driving there from Benefiel. Oh, he overshot a little bit through the turn.
And that's going to give us a drag race to the line. Dyson currently ahead, but this turn goes left, and that could be enough for Benefiel. It's going to be a drag race to the line, and it is Dyson's. That is Dyson's P1. Very, very close between the two. We're obviously going to wait a short while before we throw the yellow, but they're obviously sorting out the position now as they are expected to freeze it. Here it is, Dyson on the outside. A little bit wobbly from Benefiel. It's quite clearly Dyson's win. Waiting for Bryce Reiner to cross the line. Good comeback run. Or did I miscalculate by 1?
No, it should be the end of lap
40.
Eh? No, 45.
45.
Lap 45.
Oh my goodness. That
I'm
was just,
looking at
so
it. I misread that myself.
So that was just an excellent battle across the line between the two. Well, Dyson takes the place 5 laps before he needs to then. Saved it.
Oh, it
Good
takes the
pass.
stage win in our hearts.
In fact, let's do this one again for Kirk Mills, who will be editing the highlights no matter what on his attendance here. I think it's the only right thing to do in order just to sort of like play this one up as if give him the chance. Down the hill, 5 laps to go in the stage. Inside covered, not quite. Here comes Dyson. Benefiel's out wide. And that is P1. They're going to drag race it over the line, and on the outside line. Actually, that was another lap. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I can't be trusted. That was the lap before. Well, we're just going to return to the race now that didn't happen. Matthew Blackley is going to try and flip with a pit stop. Interesting decision. Qualified.
So Blackley trying to run a little bit different here.
Qualified 17th.
Yeah, so let's see what he may be able to do in that number 43
Dyson's
machine
checked
as
out.
up in the front.
He's gone.
Already 1.7 seconds the gap, and he got this move done, what, about 2 laps ago? See, it feels like we're kind of, I wouldn't say overhyping the road course prowess of Andrew Dyson there in that number 41 machine, but he is darn good on the road courses. He knows what he is doing here at a Benefiel. Still a very good road course racer. If Andrew Dyson wasn't in this race, Benefiel would be in his own zip code, but Andrew Dyson is, so right now we've got a collection of drivers up towards the front that are still not too terribly far away from each other, but pace-wise, all in their own little league.
Here's Simpson flipping it as well. This is going to be a more unpredictable third stage because a lot of the drivers flipping it were not some of the faster ones on the field. So, I mean, like Hoytsma flipped its third, already, you know, he's a fast road course racer. But some of these other ones are going to be starting up front. They are going to be corks in the bottle. Bird and Mullins as well. It's going to be a really unusual restart. I almost don't trust it.
Yeah, I'm not liking the cut of this restart's jib, I'll be honest. It's just a little bit... It's like tasting a diet soda compared to a regular one. You got that aspartame taste. It's just a little... There's something there. There's something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there.
Dunbar's not miles off Hoytsma. Not miles, but not ready to make the move quite yet. Stage is 45, how dare I know. And Adam Benefiel is going to go for the flip. I think it did work for him the first time, but he's going to sacrifice the stage points again and actually go for the big points of the race. Interesting, usually don't sacrifice the stage twice because you sort of just give up the points that you made up on that first stage, but Benefiel thinks maybe there's a chance, if the chips fall right in his hands, to do this right. Might have to ask him what the plan is with the double flip around there. Hixenbar on the chase for Hoytsma. This is for P2.
Yeah, so here's a question that I do have for you, Howie. With one and now two stage flips for Adam Benefiel, do they cancel each other out, or is that just, you know, an extra strength stage flip? Is this...
If you do it twice...
These are the questions that pop into my head.
If they do it twice, they give you the super soft tires. Coffee's around.
There you go.
Alex Coffee's around. And damaged on the front. That car's been wrecked out of this race.
Oh, and he may have had some assistance here. Oh, yes, he did. Kluat. Oh, and a big hit there into the wall as he, nearly ends up getting hit once more. That was a 71, I believe, of Hunter Truel.
Pretty unfortunate here. I think Kluat just mounts that curb and Coffee's the one in the way. And, I mean, that is an avoidance job. That's not that hard of a hit, but he's actually out of this race entirely. That's a meatball flag on that car, and that's unfortunate for a driver that actually was performing decently well on the pace and just sort of got sent into a different dimension. Now, dare I say final lap of the stage? I think I do. I think I'm correct this time, which makes a change. Andrew Dyson on his way to a clean sweep here today. He's going to do it one more time, but I think he's potentially up for it, you know. Here's Bryce Rhino on Hunter Truel. Had to dodge that incident earlier, Truel. Side by side through the turn. Truel's a little bit unsteady on exit. That's P7. Rhino is unlikely to win this, but I've been liking the way he's hustled that car up from 24th. I believe he's our biggest mover by quite a bit. 17 places this race.
Yeah, as much as we've been focusing on Andrew Dyson and the dominance he has had so far here in this race, there are some very good drives that are going a little bit under our radar right now. We do have a battle going on farther up the road. Here's Daniel Wiles and Blake Kluat. Kluat still looking to get his bearings straight after that incident that went down off through the S's, the 54 of Coffee. He is very slow as he heads his way up the hill. Something may be awry for that number 14 machine. I'm not sure if it's a slowdown that he's getting served. Nope, it's the stage break. God dang it.
It was due. It was due eventually. Dyson, 2 out of 3. Can he make it to 3 for free? We'll find out soon. But we will have a small break. I'm going to officially call this one the Howie Hydration Break. I need it too out here. We're suffering. The thunder has passed us by, but the hydration is required for us all and our vocal cords. We'll see you in just a few minutes.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need: Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Welcome back to Friday Night Lights, and I'd like to potentially, very briefly, ask Benefiel a question if we can. Let me just see. I just gotta get him all the way down there. Hey, Adam Benefiel, got a quick question for you on the strategy if you've got a second.
Yeah.
You seem to like flipping the stage, but I've not seen someone do it twice. You'll have undo it the first time around, but you're gunning for the race win with this. Do you think it's possible here?
I mean, I doubt it. I mean, Dyson's a freak. So I did it when I started hearing all the other cars behind me flipping. I figured, what the hell? Like, why not? It'd put an even bigger gap in between me and him. Biggest thing is it keeps me out of trouble. I feel like I got good pace. I feel like I got second place car. And I just wanted to try to make sure I position myself to finish second, I guess, or, you know, at least put up a hell of a fight when he gets to me.
That gap's going to make things interesting for all of us. Best of luck on the final stage.
Thank you.
So that is interesting, and it was, when I saw the cars between them, I actually understood the logic really well, in that, yeah, now there's a ton of cars between him and Dyson.
Yes, I gotta say, I think it's going to be a good trophy at the end of this race if these drivers can say, look, I gave a pretty bad headache to, if I gave a pretty bad headache to Andrew Dyson here in this race, I'm going to count that as a victory. But looking at the positioning of those cars, this will be interesting. Now, we said earlier on that Andrew Dyson is a road course master. You heard it right there a few moments ago from Adam Benefiel's mouth. He also said himself earlier on this race that he's a fan of trying to work at it a little bit, having these racetracks where you can't just get the moves done so easily. It's like, you know, a slam dunk competition with a trampoline out in front. No, you got to work at it hard. This may be a little bit more to chew here for Andrew Dyson. It's not a matter of getting 1 or 2 moves done like he had to earlier on in this race. He'll have to get several done. Cody Bird, Matthew Buckley, Jacob Simpson, Adam Benefiel going to have to overtake Cliff Mullins as well. This is going to be a real intriguing restart to this race. But I think if anyone's up for the challenge, it is Andrew Dyson.
And it certainly is going to make things interesting and give us a battle to chase. I think as long as Benefiel doesn't mess up this jump off the line, he's going to take the easy P1, which is why I'm thinking of putting the camera on Dyson for this race start and seeing quite what happens around him. Unless there's an incident up ahead, there's one very clear class of the field in this top 5. And then P6 is the fun part. Certainly like seeing a twist on the race. We're near the end of the lap, but we're still a little bit to go. At least the end of the lap does feel in sight, as we've said before. And don't forget, as ever, by the way, same start time tomorrow, Full Length Cup Challenge will come here and give us some longer racing, some more racing in the Cup cars, many of the same drivers, and a very different kind of racing style. Here comes the field. I'm going to focus on Dyson here, because he's the most interesting part of this. As we get ready to go green, restart zone around the corner. There's Benefiel off into the distance. White the gap. And a big,
trouble for the 15.
Wreck. Ouch. Oh, there's a yellow for that. We have called the yellow. And that's a brutal wreck into the first turn. It hasn't hit any of our biggest players, but it has hit a few drivers here that are getting sent down. Like Cody Bird and Lucas Hoitzmer actually is out as a result of this. That 15, the 15 gets loose, and everybody else is in his way.
Look at Dyson's perspective. He got sent off into the dirt there, heading up the hill into turn number 1. I think he had a roller coaster ride heading down to the first corner. Let's take a look at this here. Obviously, a huge stack up heading through the first kink in the road. 15 spins, pancakes the wall, and everybody else just caught up as collateral damage. Tragic end to the night for the 97, of course, there of Lucas Hoitzma. The 5 of Bryce Reiner also in trouble here, as you can see. Here's the 41 of Dyson. Actually gets all 4 up off the deck. Avoids the barrier by inches. Somehow doesn't get clobbered, but in that rally action heading off the track, has sustained some damage on that race car.
Here's a squeeze a moment for you, Kirk. There you go. Look at that. Keeps it going out of the wall. He actually, at the point of caution, P5 slides back across the track too. And if that's just nose damage, that shouldn't be a huge race effector. So we do have Hoitzmer out of this. They've unfortunately cleared all the black flags, which also means they've cleared some of the meatballs, which means it's hard to actually tell who is completely out. But I believe Hoitzmer was hit hard in that, and until it doesn't undamage the car, we'll get it moving again anytime soon. Most of your top challengers, though, is still here, and Dyson only gains 1 place on that restart. Whoa, getting sent into the next dimension there. We're back under yellow.
Yeah, sent off to the 4th dimension, contact being made. That's a pretty rough way to get this final stage up, rocking and rolling. It's been a very smooth run for this race for these drivers, though, so can't say that it's something that we expected by any means, but sometimes the racing gods do like to give a cold slap of reality. If there is anything we could take away from that, though, it is this. You know how we're understanding Adam Benefield's logic of deciding to double jump the stages there, come in right before then, and try and make it work that way? We were wondering whether it was going to work out, the fact he wasn't involved in anybody else's mess. If he was there with Andrew Dyson, who's now coming down pit lane, he would have gotten involved in that mess and probably would have found himself on the wall and out of it.
Dyson does have damage he feels like he needs to repair. That's a big deal. Sends him to the back of this. He will get that done, but he will be behind the whole field. And that's a significant damper on his race. He now does have to play back to first in a single stage. I'm almost certain that was not a random caution. I'm almost certain that was a caution for cause, meaning we actually have the chance for one more to happen here. Here's our lead pit box. No tyres, but yeah, he's going to have to buff that out. And he'll be sent all the way back to at least P22 after all is said and done. Benefield and Hixenbar are going to gain massive benefits for this in the championship. By the way, worth shouting out the in-season tournament. There's a lot of... it's a really big graphic, and it's going to be a little bit too big to show on the screen unless I have a really smart idea for you. And now might be the time to try my really smart idea. So let me just grab the tournament graphic, and we'll sort of go in from top to bottom. Like this. Okay, so we run across from Sonoma to Chicagoland, Atlanta to Indianapolis, and Iowa to make our champion. And we'll scroll from top to bottom here. It's Hixenbar and Eaton. That might be a win by default here today. Then Jared Godzicki and Matthew Boston Wheeler. Hold up, how do I... There we go. Matthew Boston Wheeler. Noah Woods against Von Henschel. Blake Kluart versus Dave Hoitzmer. McWhorter against Kleiman. Quite a lot of default wins here, actually. Tanner Marty and William Owens. It's Wiles and Princeton. Lowry and Brown. Benefield and Bogdan. Napier and Mesnard. Truel and Delaney. Wineland and Poole. Dyson and Pollard. Do you like how I can't keep the mouse going vertically up, by the way? Phillips and Hunsinger, Simpson and Rose, Falty and Zosiak. That marks out the end. I tried using the up key and it didn't work, so you just sort of got what I got.
Yeah, I mean, it works. See, as I always say in my day-to-day life, if it works, it works. I am, wondering about this here real quick. as you can see, lots of different battles have already been settled here heading into this race. But I'm curious how it works for one of them. We saw the number 21 there of Eric Wineland was facing up against Drew Prohl heading into this race.
Yep.
Are either of them here? I don't think I've seen Wineland, although sometimes throughout this season I have forgotten that he is out there.
He's not here.
Great driver, great person, but sometimes he's just been kind of there. So he's not here, and Drew Prohl isn't either. So
it probably
in
goes
a situation
to seed.
where,
I think it probably goes to seed.
yeah, potentially. I was going to say, in a situation where neither driver shows up, does that just mean it's an automatic buy run for whoever ends up higher between Hunter Truex and Jonathan Delaney heading into this Chicagoland next time out?
I do believe there's sort of this quite complicated situation where if drivers are only going to miss Sonoma, they can name a fill-in with a lower sports car rating than them. So it's hard to track because we've just been given the graphic as it is. So a few drivers are like swapping for others. They can sort of name their tribute. So we'll see what happens coming next round, basically. We'll see how it looks and we'll be able to put a little bit more focus on it next time around. But that's just how it is laid out on the face of it. Cody Bird saying snapped loose and just kept going.
Was that a Hunger Games reference there? Volunteering his
yeah,
tribute?
close enough. Close enough. You have to spoil everything for the audience.
See, we've touched on like big 2010 like literary and movie franchises over the past two broadcasts that we have done, Howie. Yesterday we were talking about Harry Potter and some of my trauma of being called Ron Weasley throughout most of my childhood. Now we've talked about the Hunger Games. What's next? We're gonna be making Fortnite jokes next week. Is this how things are gonna go?
Fortnite Battle Pass.
Is this the best man can get?
I cannot say the rest of that line.
Travis Scott wants you to make the bacon and secure the bag in Fortnite Battle Royale on your Samsung Galaxy. Let's get this restart going.
So Adam Benefield launching out again. Bryson Hixenbar in P5 and Dyson at the back. Let's see if we can make it past the first turns this time. Benefield gets the launch up the hill. Through the
bit of an
middle.
awkward curb whack.
Oh, Hixenbar really trying to squeeze it up the middle.
Yeah, I was worried there about Blake Kluot on entry. Had a bit of an awkward curb whack as he headed his way up the hill. Still looking for a good spot right now, running in 7th at the current moment. Still looking for a move down the inside of Cliff Mullins. May be able to get done as they head their way through the short chute. That's going to be Kluot jumping his way up into that spot. That 14 machine, still a very good road course racer. Just haven't seen an extra level of spark out of that car quite yet. But for a driver like him, he's got borderline trying to make his way into the chase. This would be a very good result for that number 14 machine.
Could be quite the shift up on the points if it goes this way. Here's Delaney. Past Blackley. Easy does it. P3 for now. Lot could happen. Actually, don't know if the cars quite have the fuel either. We'll find out. Hixenbar, though, has quite a few cars to dispatch, and Blackley's the first. Pretty clean into the hairpin. He needs to at least make it up to P2, which is very much doable. Dyson is up to 16th already, by the way. He is making up places on the road. Marty and Zosiak are side by side.
And a bit of a sideways snap there from Tanner Marty. He's going to get chewed up and spat at. Daniel Wiles jumps up into lucky spot P13 and now feeling a little bit of pressure from Grodzicki through the turn. Side by side as well. Wiles looking for 12th, clips a coupon. 2-for-1 deal off through turn number 1. He jumps his way up into that spot.
Grodzicki, oh, very nice slide from Dyson in the back. Saves it. Keeps it going, not quite doing his race win drifting yet on the board. Hixenbar has places to make up. Truex trying to squeeze past Mullins. Drops out, and in fact Fauci's going to get quite the run into it as a result. Kluart as well, trying to get Blackley now, who is dropping quite significantly over race distance. We really do have a shuffled field here today. So more passes than you'd expect here.
And side-by-side racing heading off through the hairpin. That's Blake Kluat looking for P5 and getting P5 in the process. Matthew Blackley right there in that number 43 machine. We've seen him go for a slightly off-kilter strategy so far here in this race as well. Working very well for a driver that don't really have too many memories of here in this championship, but looking to impress right now here in the California sun. We look farther up the road. Jonathan Delaney flying that car over the curb like a kite through there, up on two wheels, trying to look for second on Jacob Simpson as he still tries to withstand the pressure from Bryson Hixenball behind. This battle is still going to be intense for the final two podium spots. I think Simpson feels a bit like the red-headed stepchild here at the moment, as two drivers right behind him that are antsy and itching to try and get the move done quick.
Hixenball really wants this done. Falchion Mullins still battling further behind. Mullins still ahead, but there's a big train behind that's making this one difficult running down the hill. Jacob Simpson just drops like a rock for a second. I'm not really sure what happened to him, but he was just wildly off the line. Do you think he slid out of this turn? Or did he just understeer? He just understeered out of the turn, didn't carry enough speed, almost looked like he was sort of gunning for pit lane. He did be let back out on the track in time. That's cleared up some space. And here's the big chase for P8. Lots of cars in a row here.
Yeah, still Dicey right behind. Dyson looking to get his way up into ninth with Matthew Boston Wheeler and that number 10 machine being the only thing that separates him from that spot. They got a little bit sideways as they head their way over the crest out of turn number 3. Matthew Boston Wheeler trying to do everything in his power to hold on to that spot, but I feel like it is a futile fight. It's only a matter of time before Dyson tries to get something to stick. However, he's gotten the race lead, gotten the lead over Dyson, that is, as they head their way off through the S's.
Truel is pressuring Blackley for all he's got. Down the hill. Blackley, a little bit of a cork in the bottle, the phrase I like to use. Now on the outside line, Truel should have it easy. Look out for Dyson, who's up to P9, and he's going to make it P8 in one turn. So yeah, maybe you can pass around this track. He went for the last to first on us. And he's making good ground.
What in the world happened to Seth Foudy there in the 77? I saw a big puff of smoke up in the air. They headed their way through the hairpin, and drama breaking out for him. Now down to 12th here on the road. Very easy section to spin out there, frankly. You're dealing with the wheel hop on entry, dealing with very shallow confines as you head your way through the turn, and then on exit it doesn't get much better as we take a look to see what the deal may have been. This is 17. That's his way into the turn number 3 section. There was some trauma with Cliff Mullins as we cut to the replay, but the 17 main driver of note spins on entry, gets clobbered. Unfortunately for the driver behind, nowhere that he can really go as we take a look to see what happened to the 44 of Cliff Mullins. This hang down to that same section, turn number 3, loses it on entry, overcorrects, swaps sides like he's flipping burgers and nearly finds the barrier.
Did you know at McDonald's, I actually worked there for a couple months, you don't flip the burgers. The grill comes in from above. And you always burn your hands on the top. Or what? You burn your hands all the time on the top. Blackley still really holding off drivers. That's Falty getting real loose on exit. Just about keeps it together. Thankfully not on the wall, but not an excellent run either. Dyson's got clear air now up to Hunter Truel. 1.8 seconds to make up. By far the fastest driver around this track though, so I think he will be charging, and Kluat is on the run for Simpson as well.
And so the fight is still very much on between these drivers. Simpson and Kluat nearly made contact as they had their way through the south end. This could get very, very dicey, though. Blake Kluat, no stranger to having to get physical in a battle. He already did so a bit earlier on in this race. Added in tears for Alex Coffey, who is still down pit lane trying to repair that very damaged number 54 machine. But for the 14 of Kluat, looking for P4. Again, talking about the point situation that Blake Kluat finds himself in, heading off into this race. A result like this would be a dream for a driver that heading into today had only 9 points to the cut line.
It's a real chase for that bottom of that cut line as we do sort of approach the end of the regular season as well. So getting very close and very tight. Dyson, by the way, already approaching Trull like nothing. We sit on board with him for a minute. You'll be able to just see him make up ground every lap, I think. What do you think Dyson's final finishing place will be? Because that top three, Betterfield, Delaney and Hickson bar, are some distance out. I wonder if he'll make top three. I think it'll be a challenge in 20 laps.
See, my cheat code here is I'm going to say it depends. It depends on whether or not we get another one of those random chance yellows. Now, whether or not that yellow that we had a little bit earlier on in the race is going to be enough justification to try and run this one clean and green to the end, we'll have to find out. We did have 2 yellows at the end of last week's race at Coronado in very quick succession of one another, so maybe officials going to look for a bit more of a consistent green flag run through to the checkered flag of this race. If we remain clean and green to the end, there's always so much diving that Andrew Dyson can do to make his way up there, although that move for P6 was pretty badass, I'm not going to lie. If he has the help of a yellow, there's a chance. Things run clean and green through to the end, no yellow flags. I'm not sure if a podium is even going to be on the cards. I think there's a distinct possibility that he could finish in third, but in terms of anything more than that, second or first, I'm not really feeling it at the moment.
I'm feeling third. I'm feeling third is his ceiling here. Hickson bar would be a crazy challenge. I'd love to see him make it happen.
And see, here's another thing we do have to consider here as well, Howie. With the way that the end of this race is structured out, are we going to have to worry about some pit stops between now and the fall of the checkered flag? I will be 100% honest and say that I do not know how long a fuel run is here at Sonoma. Not privy to that information, but if these drivers have to have a pit stop, maybe Andrew Dyson will pull some sort of rabbit out of the hat to try and make his way up. Now, if there's a better way to make up some time here at Sonoma than, making it up through the pit stops, you'll have to tell me, because that would be news to me. It's such a lengthy run down pit lane, a costly one if you make a mistake, and a golden one if you feel good about your chances.
I'm not sure if we'll need a pit stop. I am not sure. I think more drivers would have maybe gone for it under the last yellow if they thought that was required of them. So, it's a call I find hard. I mean, a couple did in time. But I think more around the top might have considered it. And it was quite close to the 20 laps we've been making so far. It's around 22 something because the caution slowed the whole field down by quite a bit. We'll keep an eye on the pit lane. We'll see what happens on the other side of it. Blake Kluat still challenging Jacob Simpson. Still not quite getting much done, and Andrew Dyson is lingering like the Jaws shark in the background. Why do I call him the Jaws shark? The shark is called Jaws. It's not like another thing. I haven't watched the movie, so that's my confession for the day. I haven't watched it. Maybe that's my problem. Still not making that much here, Blake Kluat. He's going to need to put some work in. Right on board Andrew Dyson for a short few laps here as he tries to catch up to Blake Kluat. He's got 2 seconds and we'll see what he makes up, unless something just happened right as I was about to transition out. I think we just had kind of like quite a big shuffle of places around here surrounding Matthew Blackley, so you know, I'll get you cranked up on board in the second. But number one, Zodiac runs wide pretty badly there. And then what happens to Blackley down the road? Oh, you can see that rear end fishtailing. Actually does keep it together, keeps the car pointing in one direction. Little bit of jeopardy in the middle of the field. But yeah, we'll ride on board Andrew Dyson for a bit as he catches up to Jacob Simpson. P5 and 4 are on the books, and then the game will be seeing what happens to P3. Jacob Simpson got the pass through right as I got those audio technical issues and I had to switch the camera to Scenic. So, you know, blame M Audio for making the M-Track Duo. It's not a good device and I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. In fact, I lost the car data for that pass. Like, you know, I have to unplug and replug the audio mixer every time. It makes that horrible, horrible grating noise, which is done for 4 times today. Yeah. And, you know, we lost the pass. But, you know, he's past Jacob Simpson. He's on Blake Court next, and that's live, and that's like it was nothing. Next up, 2.9 seconds of taste for P3. I think Hixon Bar is viable food here today for Dyson.
I gotta say, Andrew Dyson has had a feast as of recent in this race. We were wondering what he could maybe do cutting his way through the running order, starting this race, well, restarting this stage, I should say, in 6th. Then he got sent all the way towards the back, picked up damage on that restart incident, and I gotta say, thus far, he has been obviously very impressive. There's a reason why Andrew Dyson is one of the best in this series whenever we head to a road course. Looking to have a good run here tonight is Bill Hull, ending up in the runoff area there on the outside. Thought that he was going to run off into the tire barriers, but thankfully it ends all right for him. I was just going to say, looking ahead at the remaining calendar that we have here in this championship, for Andrew Dyson, I think he's really been able to find his legs on the ovals, but terms of road courses, we don't have another one throughout the rest of this season. That's a pretty odd note to think about. We are in June, and this season doesn't end until November, and we're still running our final road course race of the year.
I miss the Charlotte Roval. I'm saying I miss it. Even with Death Hairpin, which I complained about, I miss it. So...
See, I wish they stayed, or maybe even went back to the 2018 configuration. Now, granted, with that 2018 backstretch chicane and the next-gen cars, somebody would die, but... what won't NASCAR do for the sake of TV ratings? I'm surprised they haven't started holding live executions at the Daytona 500 during the pre-race show. Have Michael Waltrip be the person who gives the lethal injection. These are the thoughts that pop into my head between your mics are hot, be ready, and go.
It's like the drive-by of intrusive thoughts. Like the moment you're on the spot, it just starts firing at you like a machine gun.
Yeah, that's you ain't wrong. You ain't wrong for sure. That's going to end up on a Maconi clip, and I'll just be randomly doom scrolling on Instagram one day, and it's going to jump scare me. That's happened before, and I won't say it's my proudest moment.
It's no mulch. Just know that you didn't go down with mulch. 7 tenths, 6 tenths. Look at how much time Dyson's eating in. It's nice to finally be able to predict something correctly on this show. Doesn't happen often to me. I do expect Dyson will take this place off Hixenbar. Delaney will be tricky, and I will not count on getting Delaney. But I will count on this being a battle for top 3. At the very least. Andrew Dyson is absolutely roaring through the field, making the best of his opportunity in his situation here.
Yes, the margin is certainly starting to draw in a little bit closer. You said that this fight between Andrew Dyson and Bryson Ixtabal was going to be a fight of the giants, and certainly is in the grander scheme of this championship. You think about these drivers, they are multi-time winners already here in 2026, and when it comes to the championship as well, you know, Dyson would need a pretty big push to try and be in contention for the regular season crown, but right now slotted third of the drivers in points, holds a okay margin between himself and Lucas Hoytsma, which will grow considering the falling anvil that befell Hoytsma a bit earlier on here in this race and the issues that Joseph McWhorter ran into right towards the start. You look at the 2 drivers that Andrew Dyson is currently behind in the championship points. It's one win Benefiel and 3-win Hixenball. He may be able to make in some big inroads here over the next couple of weeks. Now, granted, we still don't have another road course between now and the end of the season, so things may stall out, but we know that Dyson's a very good driver. It doesn't matter what kind of racetrack he's running at. Keep an eye on him to maybe upset the world as we get towards the end of this regular season. I think he has a real good shot, even if it isn't contending for the regular season points lead. Even a P3, I mean, that's still put him very, very well heading into the final 10 weeks.
Oh, the thunder's back. Beautiful. I'm like being surrounded by falling anvils in real life as much as these drivers are getting them on the circuit. Slowing down over the last 2 laps, Andrew Dyson. 5 tenths, then 3 tenths. Getting in that bubble of Hixenbar. Oh, wish you were here and wish you could hear some of these things, okay? I'm really the strongest soldier for fighting for all this on the track right now. Jason's on the run, on the chase down this hill. He's certainly going faster every single lap it goes. And he has the fastest by far, 16.087. It's the fastest lap by a lot. It means we might not see any 15 laps. We got very close to it on its fastest, but no, not quite. And now, you know, drivers on these tyres are running a 2.5 slowest from their fastest. But between these two, every single lap, Dyson claims just a little bit more out of it. Not an excellent exit from the turn, though, there. Crosses the line. still 3 tenths faster. Now he's in that 3 tenths bubble where you can no longer just go 3 tenths faster without bumping into a car.
Yeah, so at this point, he would probably be inside of Bryson Hicksonball's fuel tank if he does close up the gap by another 3 tenths here on this lap. He's got to look to try and get the move done. A little bit squirrely, heading up out of the hill, through into the short chute right now. Hicksonball still holding on to third, but Dyson all over him like the plastic on Grandma's couch. Is he going to look for it down into the turn? Certainly sniffing the back bumper of that 63 car, but not close enough quite yet. I think the hairpin may be the shot for Dyson to jump his way up back into the podium.
Dyson on the chase, but now he's stuck within that bubble, and with 9 to go, it's going to have to be forced sooner rather than later. There's about 3 passing zones on this track that you can really go for. This is one of them. Hicksonball doesn't truly cover the inside, actually tries to arc that inside to make sure he doesn't lose it. That helps him out. Now side by side on the way out. Dyson's not quite fast enough to challenge going through. And that's going to be the first lap that's pretty much dead even between the two. Dyson's slightly faster, but barely. That's what you get by having another car in your midst. And next great passing spot is going to be running over that Toyota graphic.
And so Andrew Dyson finding this to be a bit of a hard overtake to pull off right now. Dyson able to hold his own here on these road courses. You know, we've talked already throughout this broadcast about Dyson, obviously the road course ace here in the FLCC world. Adam Benefield, your current race leader, holding on to a 2-second margin right now. That strategic call that he made may turn out to be a masterstroke. Jonathan Delaney, who won at Sonoma last year, we haven't really talked too much about the road course prowess of Bryson Hicksonball. Was actually able to grab his first win in 2025 at Circuit of the Americas. Very good road course racer in his own right. He's able to put on a good defensive drive, driving the widest NASCAR O'Reilly's Mustang that has ever been made in the history of fabrication. But right now, I feel like it is a bit of a losing battle. Dyson is still there. He is going tit for tat with him on lap time. He's going tit for tat with every single turn. And now with a little bit of lap traffic maybe getting into the midst as well, this could be when Dyson finally makes his move.
7 to go, and he's looking for every chance to get this one done. Down the hill. Easy to send a bomb into either of these 2 turns. Doesn't go for it on the first one. Back out on the other side could be possible, but Hicksonball's doing a great job defending, and yet that's Daniel Lawal in the first lap car. It's going to pose a problem. It's going to sort of stop both drivers being able to use the whole track. He saves to the outside, but that keeps us locked up in place as it is. By the way, it's Bryce Reiner who has taken a bit of damage to the front, dealing with Boston Wheeler. Slow through the turns, late into the runs on road courses. These cars sort of feel like they're crawling through turns more than dashing through them. You have to drive so differently over the run. Here's Dyson. Really bad exit from Hicksonball. Terrible one. But only the outside's going to be offered. Lap car on both sides. It might hold up Hicksonball more. Are they going to go 3 wide through the 27? No, there's going to be contact with the 27. Gets away with it. Close still in line. Just a little bit dangerous.
Yeah, so dancing with the devil right now. Little bit of side-by-side argy-bargy racing through the turn. Now, as you can see that contact. I was going to say, side-by-side racing all through the final kink is pretty hard to manage on its own. 3-wide racing, you're begging for trouble. You're begging to send a car off onto the drag strip for that matter. So that contact there, the 41, Dyson dives it down the inside. Not going to be able to make it stick, but right now you can tell aggression coming to the form of that usual calm, cool, and collected Aussie. He tried to go for it on B3. That was a heave-ho. That was a send. He licked the stamp, tried to send it. Unfortunately, got stuck in customs.
Trying. Not quite getting it done. Again, this time is a little bit of desperation. He wants that interview. He wants it. He craves for it. but lap cars are going to be the bane all over this lap. Not quite done this time. 5 to go. Benefield thought he had a car for P2, by the way. He's got this race win in the bag. Delaney's going to get an excellent finish here. Fantastic result in P2. We're not going to discount this top 2 at all. Both are quite incredible results. Just that this is really the story in the battle that could evolve and explode. Zodiac with a meatball. How did he wreck out of this?
Oh, already a little bit squirrely at the start of the S's. This is just going to get worse from here. Oh, same wall that Alex Coffey found himself hitting a bit earlier on in this race, but unlike the Coffey incident, that was self-inflicted.
One more down to the back, and Zodiac was having an okay race, but that's down and out. Locked near the back. Here comes another from Dyson. Little bit of, oh, he's willing to say, I'll move you now. He's willing to say, I'll give you a little bit of a shove into the turn. He wants it done so much, and he's got 4 laps to go to try and get it done. But do you wonder if he's running out of chances?
And I will say about Andrew Dyson and the move that he tried on Bryson Ixenball just a matter of a few laps ago, that was a little bit odd from him. As we take a look at side-by-side racing, Noah Woods and Bryce Reiner. Reiner looking for it. Noah Woods going to say, no, thank you. Contact being made all through the S's. They were somehow able to keep those cars going in a straight line. I think that both of them should go out and buy a lottery ticket after that. That's the point that I was going to raise.
It's a very gentle way of saving the other car.
Yeah, there we go. Works out well. It's like, oh, sorry, no, you go, no, you go, no, you go. I was just going to say about Andrew Dyson and the dive that he went on Bryson Ixenball a bit earlier on in this race. It's so uncharacteristic to see that usual calm, cool, and collected Aussie go for a dive like that. It's like watching a priest at a poker table.
Oh, a slide on exit from Ixenball. That's a terrible exit, and that's going to give it up almost completely now. Dyson side by side. He's going to have momentum. It's not quite clear, but he's going to get it done over this hill. The move gets done, and all it took was forcing the error. I'm looking at the flashes out of my window. They are absolutely intensifying as this race approaches the finish. So we might reach the checkered flag. But yeah, just a slide out from Ixenball and exit, and that's that. Now, Dyson runs away. P3's in the bag. We're free to go unless somebody wrecks out of here. Our top 3 is pretty much locked in tow. Do you think, Ron, how much money are you going to put down on Dyson catching Delaney in 3 laps? I'm not sure. Let's talk about our top 2, though. Adam Benefield, car for P2, might have been blessed with the luck of a 4-leaf clover in order to actually get that P1. But you have to be there when it counts.
Yeah, see, here's the thing. Even if it's a win that was assisted by RN Jesus smiling upon you fondly, luck, you know, it matters to some, but as long as you get the trophy at the end, that is what matters. Benefield still needs to bring this one home. We can't put his name on that trophy quite yet. 1 1/4 second is the gap between himself and Jonathan Delaney. Now, Delaney is not there in a position to pounce quite yet. One small little trip up from Benefield, though. A small little push to these drivers, and that battle could get hot very, very soon. With about a lap and a half left to go, though, Benefield just needs to hit his marks. Not sure if there's any traffic that would get involved in this battle. So at this point, it's Benefield needing to put together 2 pretty decent laps. Don't overstep your marks. Nail every braking zone. You don't need to set a track record. You just need to keep it clean.
And Delaney as well, another driver that really, I mean, getting a top result for a lot of points is always appreciated. Not in the top 12 and quite far off the cut line. I don't think this will make a championship impact, but Everybody wants to be in that top 3 eventually one day. And it's been a good run. He's not miles off Benefield on pace here, actually. It's been a solid race that's been earned. Here's Wiles and Simpson for P6. We've seen a lot of variation up and down the field, really, in terms of car placement.
And there's a lot of different things going on here in this race as Wiles looking for it down the inside. Simpson trying to block off. I thought he nearly, tripped up himself through there. Big drift as he heads his way out of the hairpin. Simpson all wiggly as he tries to get on the power and up the gears. May have gotten into his own head a little bit more than Wiles got into it right there. They're still close as they start the last lap.
There comes Adam Benefield, got half a lap to finish. And he is claiming some points over both of his rivals. Although, I don't know how much it's going to help him in the championship race. Because remember, he sacrificed 2 stages. Whereas Dyson and Hixenbar didn't. I actually do wonder if this is, he's kind of lost 20 points on the table here. So, this might not be the championship swing he's looking for. But a win is a win. And he always wants to take him to the bank. He always wants to say he outraced Hixenbar at the very least. Jonathan Delaney, keep it together. Oh, keeps it out of the pit wall for P2. This is what you meant by keeping it together into the final lap. He almost wiped out of a P2, but Adam Benefield takes the checkered flag over the line here at Sonoma.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was warning him about. Andrew Dyson nearly just wound up with the luckiest P2 in the history of mankind, but he ends up in 3rd. And still drifted at the end of this race. I think he's happy that he got a podium considering the setback that he had, but probably the happiest man out there is Adam Benefield. It's a road course win here in 2026. It's his 2nd victory here in 2026. Been a little while since this man was able to visit victory lane, but for the first time in quite some time here in this run of form. First time since Phoenix all the way back in March, Benefield finally sees victory lane once more.
We're looking at the drifting because Benefield has already pulled off the track, so this is our highest placed car still on the track, and I think Dyson has something to celebrate here today nonetheless. Finishing results, Adam Benefield though takes the checkered flag despite all the drifting you see on the screen. Jonathan Delaney takes P2 and Andrew Dyson first to last to first to make it first to last to 3rd. At least get your saying right in P3. Bryson Hixenbar finishes 4th ahead of Blake Kluwer, Jacob Simpson, Daniel Wiles, Hunter Trull, Seth Felty and Bryce Reiner.
Yeah, and then from there, Noah Woods ends up in 11th. Matthew Boston Wheeler is in P12. Matthew Blackley in 13th. Tanner Marty in 14th. Brandon Hunsinger in P15. Cliff Mullins ends up in 16th in front of William Owens in 17th. Mason Lowry in P18. For last of the cars on the lead lap, Jared Grodzicki, he ends up 1 lap down there in 19th place. Kyle Heyman is in 20th.
Further on back, it's Mesnard, Phillips, Hull, Zosiak, Llewellyn, Hoytsma, Bird, Coffey, Dave Hoytsma and McWhorter. That's our top 30 for today's race. And with that, let's go talking to some race performers here today. Let me make sure I get the replay machine nice and locked and loaded though. You never know when you're quite going to need it. Lock in on Adam Benefield for me. No, he's just not here today. What you mean by like you got to do your preparation in advance, and now it's going fast. There he is. Okay.
Adam Benefield was last seen hitchhiking on the 405 freeway. He's not actually there in the infield care center yet, so we may have to drag our feet here real quick.
I mean, I could pull him right out, but I have a feeling like he's in some team communications. I don't know.
Yes, I think we'll maybe
let's split the difference down the middle. Actually,
here we go. He's in there.
Okay,
he's in there.
Right on time. Adam Benefield, you did end up getting that win in your hands after that incident from your teammate, but your car for second turned out to be a car for first nonetheless.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta try to outsmart them. Wake up in the morning, you piss excellence. Nobody can really hang with your stuff. It's hard being this good.
Final road course on the whole schedule, I believe. Are you happy to see the end of them?
Yeah, I am.
And it's very interesting noting the points that I'm not sure what you gain from this, because you kind of threw away 2 stages to then finish a few points ahead of rivals. So I actually don't know how much of an advantage you gain in that. But another win from the books. How was running out there, though?
Yeah, I mean, it was we got a point for stage 1. We ended up getting 10th in it, but dude, I mean, it is where I'm not looking at the points. I'm not really worried about the points right now, honestly. When they reset and all that, like, we'll see where we stack up and then go from there. I just really want to chase, wins. But yeah, I'm not really worried about the points right now. But the car was great. Audie did a great job this week. He had a great car. Worked a lot with him, trying to get better at this road stuff. The last few years has been a struggle with road racing, and I've started running a lot. Like over the off season, I did a lot of team 24-hour races in GT3 cars with Ralph Hutchinson's crew chief, Brandon Pierce, and Brandon Hastings, and Hicksonbaugh, and Dyson. We been doing a lot of road stuff, and kind of getting better at that. And then we added Dyson, and he's elevated my road racing, opened my eyes up to a lot. So it's cool to see that practice and that the work has paid off, and the pace is there on road racing now.
Any other thank yous?
Nope, I guess that's it.
I guess you got it through and done. Well, another win on the books for Adam Benefiel on the final road course of the season. It means you beat Dyson on the road course, and he can't argue about it. So just think about it like that way.
Exactly.
Bragging rights.
That's right. I'll take it.
That's Benefiel done, and that means a drive we don't get to speak to terribly often, actually. Jonathan Delaney with Ron.
Yeah, Jonathan Delaney now joining us here in the broadcast booth. Jonathan, welcome in. P2 for you at the end of this race, but I want to ask you about the end there. That Code Brown moment heading out of the third to last turn, what was going through your mind when that car nearly ended up on the inside concrete barrier? Because I probably would have immediately thought about a change of underwear.
Yeah, I was giving it all those last couple turns, and got the rear end to come around, clipped the dirt or grass, and it started to go around, and I don't know, I was able to save it. Luckily I didn't smack into either the right side or the left side of the wall right there at the pit entrance, so I was able to save it. Years and years of experience of doing that prepared me for that moment of wrecking out, spinning out, and trying to save cars. So I got to thank all my failures over the years of spinning out and bending it and trying to save it. Prepared me for that moment.
Yeah, years of trials and tribulations led to being able to woe that car up and bring it home in P2. I do want to ask you kind of about this race, because we mentioned during the broadcast you won here last year here in the, at the time, Xfinity, now O'Reilly cars, and able to get second place here in this race, showing some very good speed. It feels like Sonoma is a bit of a happy hunting ground for you.
Yes. So just to backtrack too, it was just pure talent too. Me saving that car, that's all it is.
Yeah, it's the Adam Benefiel line. You wake up every morning and you piss excellence.
That's right. Yes. No, but I enjoy Sonoma. This is, out of all the road courses we go to in the year, this is my favorite every year. I enjoy it. I even enjoyed racing it in the other track configuration we had 2-3 years ago. It's always been my favorite. This Xfinity car is really fun on road courses. It kind of drives a little bit like the old Gen 6 car, where you have wheel hop, you have tire spin, and you actually kind of have to manage the tires and be a little strategic about it, where the next gen car, it's your 110% every single lap for the entire race. There's no saving tires. You have really no wheel hop or anything like that. It's just driving as hard as you can. This car, you can still drive it pretty hard. But you still got to kind of take care of it. I really enjoyed this track throughout the years. It just seems really fit, kind of my driving style. I especially like it. It kind of sucked. Track got pretty cold there at the end, but this track's really fun when it really heats up. 120 degrees plus. It's really fun. You're slipping and sliding around trying to find grip, and cars just all over the place. Makes it really fun. But yeah, I do enjoy this track quite a bit.
Yeah, so I guess it's unfortunate from your perspective that we didn't see the drivers skidding around like a bunch of declawed cats attempting to climb up igloos. But I do want to ask you about tomorrow with the full-length Cup Challenge. Obviously, usual contender over in that series. What are your thoughts on to that race tomorrow here at Maconi Entertainment?
I'm not too sure. I wrecked out last year on a restart. Those are kind of my weaknesses, restarts. Just everybody's trying to go for position from the start of the green flag, and everyone's fighting and pushing, trying to get everything they can. So just got to try and keep it clean on the restarts, and hopefully come there at the end. I have no clue how the track or the car drives. I have no laps of practice, so we'll see how it is. We'll try and get some practice laps in tomorrow and see what we can do. It's going to be pretty close, I think, all race. This is a track where you're literally finding milliseconds to try and get out of the car. Everyone's going to be really close on speed, and it's kind of hard to pass. So probably have to pull some strategy and we'll come out on top. So yeah.
Yeah, certainly going to be a competitive race tomorrow night when the Cup cars start to rip it around here. But Jonathan, before we let you go and celebrate this P2 run and get a bit of practice in for the Cup race, we'll let you give any thank yous or shout outs.
Just thank you guys for broadcasting this. Shout out to everyone who runs this league. Yeah, that's all I got. Thank you guys, and see you later.
Hey, there you go, Jonathan. Thank you for joining us in the booth, and good luck tomorrow in the Cup race.
Thank you.
And that right there was Jonathan Delaney, P2 finisher. Howie, I'll pass the mic off to you to have a chat with our P3 runner, that being Andrew Dyson.
Dyson, how do you choose to frame this day? Is it a good day because of the comeback, or is it a bad day because you ended up back there to begin with?
I think it's a good day because we all had fun in the end. Isn't that what we were supposed to say?
I definitely had fun.
Yeah, I mean, no, it was actually good. I mean, I had a really a good time passing some cars there. Some cars let me go, some cars made me battle. Either way, it was good fun. Enjoyed it. One car who certainly made me battle was Bryson, and fair enough too. We're racing for third place there, and man, I got to tell you, my tyres were killing me at that part of the race. I probably didn't do a great job of looking after the tyres in that last part of the race compared to the first two stages. So they weren't looking real good. They certainly weren't feeling real good, and as it turns out, neither were Bryson. So we were both sliding around there for a bit, but I certainly felt like he had better rear tyre than me. I mean, he had better straight line acceleration, particularly out of that last hairpin. So I didn't really know how I was going to pass him, but we sort of got mixed up with some traffic, and I thought I had him, and then I didn't, and then slipped up a little bit, and I got to the outside, and I still wasn't sure if I had him, but got it done, so it was good fun. But shout out to Bryson for some good racing. Shout out to everybody else along the way there. It was pretty good.
And was that damage bad enough that you really felt like you need to pit? I only saw sort of the error at the front, but there's a lot more going on.
Well, it was 40 seconds, and when I didn't know it was 40 seconds before I went in, but I sort of could see it on the broadcast what the damage looked like. Quickly brought it up so I could take a look, and I thought if I don't fix it, it's probably going to be another Coda situation like I had in the Cup car, where the car was damaged, and I could probably be fast enough for a while to be competitive, but give it like 20 laps or so, I would have started really struggling, which I didn't want to have to do. So I thought I'd take my chances. I'll go in, pit, get the damage done, get some spots back, and if we get another yellow, I could be in with a shot. But it wasn't to be. But yeah, it was still. I think it was the right choice.
No more road courses. Do you still think there's a chance for you to get a good place entering the chase?
Yeah, for sure, man. I think I've been a shot at a couple of wins in the ovals in this car this season. I've been close in the Cup car as well. Probably more so in this car lately. I feel like I've been having a good bit of fun on it. Aside from making some bad choices with when to pit and strat stuff, or just making a bad call with how many tires I took in a pit stop, which really hurt me at Pocono. I think I've been in with a really good shot, so I think I can keep bringing home some good results at the very least. And if I can be in the hunt for a win here or there, I'd be pretty happy with that. But you know what, man? I think I'm actually going to keep running this Pisswasser Lager paint job because it's pretty awesome. So shout out to Kyle Ammon for putting this one together. Pisswasser, for those who don't know, best-selling beer in Los Santos for decades. Low-quality German lager for export only. Get around it.
Tastes like fresh paint.
Any other thank yous?
I'm sure it does. No, that's probably it. I mean, thanks to you guys for doing the broadcast as always, and all the folks who put the league together. And thanks to all the guys who come out for these road races because they're pretty tough, they're pretty long, and they make you work, especially when someone's weaving all around and blocking you and doing all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, they make you work for it, and it's a lot of fun. So shout out to everyone who came out.
At least the cautions were fast enough. Final shot I'll ever fire at Coronado. P3 for Andrew Dyson. Congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
And that marks the whole top three. I'd like to thank him as ever for coming in to speak with us, Ron. And that is a final road course day, as we've said on the running. And you've got to sort of get the classic one done, I think. Back for more on the Cup Series tomorrow. But we certainly did have some storylines out of that one.
Yeah, that we certainly did between I wouldn't say fall from grace for a driver. It was just some falling anvils coming down on him. A brilliant drive from Adam Benefield to return to victory lane for the first time since Phoenix way back in round number 4 this season. Lots of storylines as we head our way off into the summer stretch. After this, we only have 5 more races until the end of the regular season. Time is really starting to get tight.
And then the racing gets tighter. I mean, Howie Burrows alongside Ron Mons. It hasn't cooled down that much, but I wasn't hit by lightning. So we take one for the team. Thank you very much for watching.